Hey everyone, I am so happy you joined. Let's get right to it. As you see on the screen, I have a book out, What's Butterflies Got to Do with It. That will take you on your own relationship journey, not just with people, but also with yourself. And a lot that you heard Laverne say, a lot that you heard Lakeisha say, you will find, you will say strategies in this book to help and support you get to that place where you are confident in who you are and the relationship that you're in. And just to touch on that, what's butterflies got to do with it? Somebody put in the chat, absolutely nothing, okay?
Absolutely.
We get that little feeling in our stomach and we think that we have the best thing ever, and it absolutely means nothing when it comes to relationships, when it comes to marriage, and even when it comes to yourself. As Laverne kind of touched on, some of that is anxiety, some of that is no one ever took me out before, right? No one ever told me I was beautiful. So those feelings come and we believe it means we're actually with someone who loves us, and we think that we love them back. But I want to talk on the art of interviewing. When you are thinking about being with someone, I say the art of because you get to decide how you want your relationship to look, and you create that for yourself. But it takes certain skills to get there so that you are not losing yourself in the process. And so the art of interviewing is what the world calls dating. I do not call it dating. In my book, I call it interviewing. And the reason is because you are interviewing. You are trying to find out who this person is, what triggers them, where they were born, like how were they raised? What are the things that that they don't even know about themselves, but that they show when you're with them? And so when you're interviewing, you're looking at the person in great detail. And so that goes to this slide that you see now. How do you spot a red flag? I want to put this out there. We say red because the color is of a warning. It's saying, something's wrong. But you're not, yes, exactly. But sometimes you can get so close because you're not interviewing and you're dating that you're so close that you can't see the red flags. So in this acronym that you see, this is to help you identify the red flags if you are in a relationship or trying to be in one as you're interviewing. So you can write this down. I know everybody has their pen and paper. FlAGS. F. Feel. How do you feel? When you are with this person, I'm not talking about the butterflies now. When you are with this person, do you feel safe? Do you feel like you can be yourself? Do you feel secure? Do you feel comfortable? Are you scared? Do you feel timid? What do you feel? And so before we get to G, I just want to say that all of what I'm saying in this acronym, you need to write down so you know in the moment exactly how you felt. Because if you don't write it in the moment, you might forget those little things that may help you later. But how do you feel when you're with this person? L, listen. What is the person saying? What are they not saying? And let me just give you a little example. If you are dating someone who, let's say this guy has children, but he never talks about his children. So he's saying all these great things as he's taking you out, but what is he not saying? He's not mentioning his children. So it's telling you a lot about who he is as a father, because if you are a father, just like the mothers are mothers, we are going to mention our children at some point. They're the love of our lives. They're our heart. We're going to mention them. And so what is the person saying and what are they not saying? And think about that as you're having those deeper conversations with the person. So listen. And that word listen also means tone. What are the tones that you hear when you're speaking with them or when you're speaking about certain things? So you want to be very sensitive as that person is speaking. A, what's their actions? What are their actions? Have you seen them upset yet? How do they act when plans are switched on them?
talk about it.
How do they act when you say, no, I don't want to do that today? How do they act? What are their actions? What's their response to things that you say? And so I want you to think about that word action, because sometimes that's the part that we ignore, because we love to be wined and dined. So if they take us out to eat, they open the doors, they give us flowers. We're like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. It's been a while since a man actually done this. And then you sit down at the table and the check comes and he's expecting you to pay. That's a red flag. But you might ignore that one red flag because all the other things that happened that really made you feel good. So what are their actions? Like, pay attention to every little thing. And I always say this, sometimes little things bother us, but we overlook them. And those are the little things you need to jot down. Going to G, generate data. So I say this because I feel like when we have butterflies and we're in the moment, that there's a lot we forget. And when we have it in black and white of patterns that we see, things that we notice, how we felt, the actions that took place, things that we feel like should be said in a conversation that wasn't said, then it is easier to make a decision of whether I should be interviewing this person for the second, third, or fourth time. And then let's go to S, C. See if they are attentive. So you have a lot of people that they'll do a lot of things for you, but they're not attentive. They're not attentive to your goals. They're not attentive to who you want to be. They're not attentive even when just talking to you. Do they give you eye contact? What is happening? What do you see? And that goes beyond even if they're attentive. Anything you see that makes you feel like you have something sour in your gut is the moment you generate that data. I didn't like the way I felt when he said that. I didn't like the way I felt when he did this. I didn't like how, he didn't respond when I mentioned this. Like, sometimes it's in the silence. So even those little things, like, he was silent when I said that. I don't know, like that should have been a moment where he responded. Jot that down. Generate this data so you have it in black and white. So now you can identify the red flags. Let's go to our next slide, because this is going to be really helpful for someone today. I just want to touch on why I use the language interviewing instead of dating. And it's really because if you change your language, you change your mind. The moment you say, I'm not dating, I'm interviewing, you treat it as an interview. You ask those hard questions. You ask the questions that will make you fully understand who this person is. And not only that, just think of it naturally when you go on the interview. It's just, you and maybe one other person. And then, they get a feel for you. And really, they don't go into deep questions the first interview because they really want to see, do I like your energy? They just want to see, like, do I feel you in this moment? Would you fit in this school, or would you fit in the culture of this business? And then the second interview is when they start asking those deeper questions. And if they call you back for a third one, it's deeper questions. But each time you notice that they add more people in that interview. I remember one interview, I had a whole full round table of people, and I was like, this is a lot of people just to give me a yes. This is crazy. But what they wanted to see was, is what our boss saw, can we see that too? Or do we see something else? And so they're really investigating you in that moment as you're answering questions. They're paying attention to how you dress, your demeanor, how you respond to a question. And so we do the same thing. We need to do the same thing when we're interviewing. Who is this person? Your first interview. Second interview, I'm gonna bring my girl Laverne, I'll bring my girl Lakeisha, let's go, y'all come with me. And then they're able to kind of, I don't like how he said this. I didn't like how he did that. And they can point some things out that you may not see. And then if you feel like he gets a pass from your girls, then it's like, all right, let's see what my dad says. Let me see what my mom says. Let me see what my auntie and uncles got to say about you. And there goes that third interview. And trust and believe, if your family's anything like mine, they're gonna tell you. He ain't it. He ain't the one. And so this interviewing is not just a one-on-one. You need to bring other people in. You need other eyes. You need other ears so that you can make sure that you are with someone that's a good fit for you. And just, I want to give you a little nugget today. Somebody put in the chat, a nugget, give me a nugget. When you're interviewing, men often say, and women do this now, I hear a lot, what do you want? What do you want in a man? What do you want in a woman? Don't answer that question, because you're giving him the answer so now he can put his best foot forward. The moment you tell him what you want, he's going to become that person, or she will become that person, because you've given him your secret. And so that's one of the nuggets today. Never tell them what you want in a man, what you want in a woman. You say, I know what I like when I see it. That is your response. I know what I like when I see it. And so do me a big favor. Everybody pick up something that has some writing on it. Find something, a paper next to you, a book. I'm going to pick up my book, and I want to do a quick demonstration that will help you see what I'm talking about when I say we're too close. All right, so put something in the chat to let me know y'all ready. Just say ready. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I see some lips moving saying ready. Oh, I got it ready from Janelle. All right, let's go. So this book is amazing, right? If I open it up and I'm reading it from here, I can read it and I'm fine because I'm not close. I'm far enough where I can read it, understand, comprehend what's in front of me. The moment I start getting closer and closer and closer, I cannot read. I cannot identify what's in front of me. I don't even know the word that's in front of me. And that's how it is in our relationship. So do that for me. I want you to do that with the piece of paper you have or the book you picked up, and kind of just start from here so you can see. I can see everything now, but then just slowly get closer and tell me if you can read anything on that book. Can you see anything, Lakeisha? How about?
I got my glasses on.
What about you, lovely?
Real blurry.
All blurry, right? What about you, lovely Jess? I see lovely up here, Jessica, Janelle. Can you see anything? You put in the chat. You can't see a thing. And that's what it's like when we get too close when we're interviewing. You can't see a thing. So I always say, keep your distance. Keep that language interviewing so that you don't get too close, so that you cannot see the red flags. So I just always like to do that demonstration because it is helpful for you to kind of feel it so you can see what I'm talking about. I want you to take a minute, take 3 minutes, and just write down, using my acronym, like what are some things you see that are red flags or green flags, right? There could be some good things too, but we want to focus on the negative because the positive is always easy to recognize. What are some things that you've seen in your relationship or a relationship that you're starting, or even a past relationship? Write down some things that you felt, you heard, listening, the actions, and what did you see? And if you are someone who you're saying, I am not trying to get in a relationship, I just was coming here to gather some information for someone else, try writing interview questions based on your core values so that when you do start or when you think about moving forward in that way, you already have a list of questions that you know is important to ask as you're on your interview. And I guess, Lakeisha, maybe we can play a little soft music for 2 minutes.